Good morning and welcome to the Triangle Center for Spiritual Living. We're here today, our next to the last time that we are at Sophie's Bar and Grill. And we always start our service with a short meditation time as a way to just connect within, to get quiet, to prepare the space here. I'm Marianne Atwell Hardy, and I welcome you and thank you for joining us. I'm going to first start and do some reading, and then I'll guide us into quieting ourselves, and then we'll have some quiet meditative music. This is from Ernest Holmes, 365 Days. And it's talking about the verse in Matthew that says, "And forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors." When Jesus said he would not judge, lest we be judged, we should not judge lest we be judged, he was stating the action of the law of cause and effect. If we wish a complete clearance from any sense of condemnation about ourselves, we must first be certain that we have released all condemnation of others from our own minds. When we do this, we meet others in a new light and, reaching past all judgment and criticism, establish a relationship between the spirit that is within them and the spirit that is within us. For God is one in all people. Knowing that God must be at the center of everything and realizing that God's love is the great motivating power of life. Today, I know that I am meeting this God in everyone and seeing the manifestation of love in everything. If there is any condemnation or animosity in me, I gladly loose it. I loose it and let it go as I turn to that silent presence within me that gives all and withholds nothing. Giving and receiving, loving and being loved, I rejoice with all creation and find in field and flower and running brook, in the sunshine and in the stillness of the night, that one presence that fills everything. I enter into the harmony of eternal peace, into the joy of knowing that I am in the now kingdom of God, from which no person is excluded. My yesterdays are gone forever. My tomorrows stretch forth into an endless future of pure delight. And from out of the invisible, there came to me these words: "Today, thou art with me in paradise." And I invite you at this moment to get comfortable wherever you are. Close your outer eyes if that's comfortable. Because, as E.C. Hopkins says, silence is the language God speaks. Everything else is a translation. So when you breathe in, I want you to notice the pause. The pause at the end of the in-breath and the pause at the end of the out-breath. That pause gives us a chance to connect with that silence that is God's speaking. And I also read that the pause is not absence. The pause is presence. And I see that with a capital P. So just take some time breathing in, noticing the pause, breathing out, noticing the pause. and enjoy. So I invite you to very gently come back into your physical presence, holding on to that peace, that calm, that connection that for me is most easily felt in the silence. I want to thank you for being here to help prepare not only yourself, but the space to bless the service that will start at 10:15. So just invite you today to just have a mindful moment where you feel the pause. And within the pause, know that there is presence with a capital P. It's always and never available. Again, thank you for being part of the meditation. Namaste.
midstream to good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Triangle Center for Spiritual Living. Whether you are here joining us at Sophie's Grill and Bar or whether you have invited us into your homes this morning through the power of live streaming, I am grateful. It's wonderful to see you, and it's wonderful to know that you are all out there. For those of you who may not know me, my name is Dusty Rippelmeyer, and I have the privilege of being this community spiritual director. We are part of a larger organization called Centers for Spiritual Living, and we believe that there is one power and presence in the universe, one creative energy that has created everything that there is, everything that we see, and everything that we do not see. And since we were created by it, out of it, in its likeness, then we too have the ability to create. And in fact, we are doing so each and every moment of each and every day. We are creating the experiences of our lives through the things that we say, the things that we believe, our feeling tone about ourselves and about the world. And so we come here together to learn spiritual practices and spiritual principles that can help us to navigate this spiritual path that we are walking as spiritual beings having a human incarnation. And so we're very grateful when you join us, because really, the more the merrier. We have a flower dedication today, and this beautiful plant, and the flower dedication is for Diane Carnes. Now, if you're not familiar with Diane Carnes, I believe we have a picture of her. She's unable to join us today. She's a licensed spiritual practitioner. She's certified radical forgiveness coach. She's a loving wife, mother, and friend who over the years has volunteered at the Triangle Center for Spiritual Living in multiple ways. In the past, her passion for our CSL youth was expressed perfectly in how well she organized teen lock-ins and trips to the regional and national teen camps. Mostly today, Diane, we wish to celebrate you on your Platinum Jubilee birthday. Woo, that's right. Your strength of consciousness and dedication to our faith and way of life has been and is inspiring to all who are fortunate to spend time in your presence. Dr. Mike said that when he started classes at the Triangle Center for Spiritual Living, it was all so new to him that he felt like a deer in the headlights, whereas Diane seemed to know everything already. Her calm, gentle, steady support encouraged him to believe that sometime he might be able to reach her level of consciousness. Happy 70th birthday, sweet, warm, and dynamic Diane. From Dr. Mike, Reverend Dusty, Heather Abbott, Barbara Kane, Carol Cross, and Lonnie Chavez. We love you. Happy birthday. And gratitude goes out this morning to another of our spiritual practitioners, Marianne Hardy, for her beautiful meditation that expanded the container that our service will unfold within. And speaking of Marianne, let's welcome her back to the podium. Good morning again. Oh, so our theme for the year 2022 is Living Everyday Wonder. Our theme for the month of July is relationships. And Rev Dusty's talk title today is Reason, Season, Lifetime. I'm now going to read this community's purpose statement, which is our reason for being here. Our purpose is to inspire, educate, and empower individuals to experience themselves as unique and individualized expressions of God, the love intelligence that governs the universe. We are committed to not merely a theoretical understanding of our oneness and unity in God, but to consciously practice this truth in our everyday lives. Through service, celebration,
study, and fellowship. We are committed to the transformation of our personal lives and to being a powerful and beneficial presence on the planet. With the energy of unconditional love, simply, we are here for God. So if you will take a moment and just quiet your mind, open your heart, open your ears. Get ready for what comes next.
Practitioner here at TCSL, and I am also so happy to have you join us this morning. I'm going to begin with one of our favorite rituals, the Blessings of All Faith, and I would like two of my favorite assistants to come up and help me with this, Rebecca and Stephanie. So, thank you for your service. The Triangle Center for Spiritual Living honors the diversity and threads of truth that run through all spiritual paths, as represented by this ceremony. Christianity is the path of Christ consciousness, love, and forgiveness. Buddhism is the path of compassion and understanding. Judaism is the ethical path of living by sacred law. Baha'i is the path of unity and peace. Islam is the path of submission to the will of God, the highest calling. Confucianism is the path of deliberate tradition. Taoism is the natural way, the path of ultimate reality. Native American practice and shamanic traditions are the paths of primal spirituality. Shintoism is the path of tribal ancestry.
Hinduism is the path of knowledge, action, and devotion. Science of mind and spirit is the path of the divine principles of love and law. And the heart represents the one heart, the one love that resides at the center of all people and all beings everywhere, with no exception. May peace prevail on earth to the followers of all paths. And so it is. Thank you, ladies. All right. So I ask you now to close your eyes again for a moment as I say a blessing on today's service. Ah, and just as the clouds can't block the rays of the sun, so can my human thoughts and preoccupations and concerns even begin to dim the divine spark that is lit up inside me. It is a dazzling light, a light of unconditional love, of peace, of joy, of abundance, of unity with all that is, because I know that in this universe, all that is came from the one source, the one energy, the one substance that we call spirit or God or just love, whatever you want to call it. I know that that is the truth of who and what I am, who and what every one of you involved in this ceremony this morning are. Every person, every being, everything. It is all this one. And so, as we all enter into our connection with this truth, I know that today's service will unfold in divine perfection. I say a word of blessing on all the volunteers who um, serve to make today happen. I say a word of blessing particularly on the ever talented Heather and Ava, who run our technology to make sure that you can see and hear what goes on today, whether you're in the room or whether you're at home. I say a word of blessing on Marianne for her always just so calming uh, being and her meditation. I say a word of blessing on our musician, Cindy Johnson, who is just such a musical angel for us. And I say a word of blessing on Reverend Dusty, who comes to the podium with not just a talk, but with an energy of wisdom and inspiration and devotion to all that is and to all of us. And finally, I say a word of blessing on each one of you who are listening here in the room at Sophie's, at home, or in your car, or wherever you happen to be, either now or in the future. It's all part of the one. And I am grateful for your contributions to the service, because everybody's energy is what makes this such a beautiful event. So, knowing this is the truth, I say let's get on with it. And I ask you to affirm this with, for yourself and for each other with our words. And so it is. And so it is. Okay. Today's reading is from an unknown author who said, "Some people come into our lives and quickly go. Some people move our souls to dance. They awaken us to new understanding with the passing whisper of their wisdom. Some people make the sky more beautiful to gaze upon. They stay in our lives for a while, leave footprints on our heart, and we are never the same." So beautiful. So next I'm going to introduce the sparkly and talented Cindy Johnson, whose music always leaves footprints on our hearts. So thank you for being here today, Cindy.
Thank you.
I've heard it said that people come into our lives for a reason, bringing something we must learn, and we are led to those who help us most to grow if we let them, and we help them in return. Well, I don't know if I believe that's true, but I know I am who I am today because I like a comet pulled from orbit as it passes the sun, like an stream that meets a boulder halfway through the wood. Who can say that I've been changed for the better? Because I knew you. I have been changed for good. It well may be that we will never meet again in this lifetime. So let me say before we part, there's so much of me is made of what I learned from you. You'll be with me like a handprint on my heart. And now, whatever way our story ends, I know you have rewritten mine by being my friend. Like a comet pulled from orbit as it passes the sun, like a seed dropped from a skybird in a distant wood. Who can say that I've been changed for the better? Because I knew you. I have been changed for good, like a comet pulled from orbit as it passes the sun, like a stream that meets a boulder halfway through the wood. Who can say that I've been changed for the better? I do believe I have been changed for the better, and because I knew you, because I knew you, because I knew you, I have been changed for good.
Absolutely beautiful song. song, Cindy Johnson, perfect for today. And what I'm imagining that maybe not all of you know is that we have just received relationship inspiration from two witches having a conversation with each other in a Broadway play called Wicked. Truly, God is everywhere at all times. Thank you very much, Cindy. That was beautiful. So, as has been already stated today, our theme for this month has been relationships. Can't believe it's already the 31st of July. The importance of relationships in our lives should never be underestimated by any of us. There's compelling evidence that relationships are a vital component of our health and our well being. They assist us to feel less lonely, as Reverend Jim talked about earlier in the month. They can also help us to more effectively deal with stress and to actually live longer. Positive, healthy relationships can also be a source of personal growth. And they also provide us with an inner life energy that really nurtures us from within. As humans, we feel the need to interact with each other in order to feel that we belong. We are really social creatures at our core. And it doesn't have to be a romantic relationship. Really, there are all different kinds of relationships that play an essential role in our lives. This includes our family and our friends and our colleagues at work and the people in this community, or even someone that we just happen to interact with at a cafe or in the gym while we're working out. Turns out just being in the presence of a like-minded person or someone with something in common with us really contributes to our well-being just by being in their presence. Now, so if relationships are so beneficial to our health and our well-being, why is it that they all, not always, but so often show up as so darn hard or so confusing or so frustrating? Holistic wellness coach Jessica Itcha says, did you ever hear the quote, no pain, no gain? Well, the same logic applies to relationships and self-development for that matter. A lot of people run from suffering and pain, but life is not about being well all the time. Suffering is what allows us to become aware of what needs to change in our lives so that we can become better, healthier, and happier human beings. Every aspect of life offers two sides, a positive and a negative, and there is not one without the other. The problem is many of us live under the illusion that a relationship should only be about the positive. And whenever things get tough, they walk away. Worse yet, by doing this, they are walking away from the actual things they need to work on themselves. Funny how life is that way, huh? It's also said that relationships are often hard for people because they work like mirrors. Through them, we're often confronted with some aspect of ourselves that we might not particularly like, and yet find that we really need to find a way to embrace it or to at least work on it in some way, shape, or form. We think that our negative feelings stem from something that someone else has said or that someone else has done, but in most cases, that's not true. They are simply challenging a belief that we hold about ourselves or about our lives, a belief that we're struggling to accept. Therefore, the key to really healthy and profound relationships is taking responsibility for our own feelings. And to think you got up out of bed to hear that this morning. To take responsibility for our own feelings, having the courage to work through them so that we can become the very best version of ourselves for ourselves and for those around us. And ultimately for the entire planet, because we are all interconnected. Despite the fact that we can benefit from relationships at every level, the deeper our connection to others, the more profound the benefits are on our mental health and our physical well-being. Fulfilling relationships require a balanced form of love in which we understand the highest values of each other and how we complement one another. We're here to live the life that we love. Really, I mean, that's like one of the biggest purposes we have, to live a life that we love, but we're also here to share that journey through the relationships that we have throughout our lifetime. Different people knock at different times and for different reasons, knock on our life or our consciousness or our hearts. Some people come to fill a need. Some people come to teach us a lesson. Some people come to assist us to really embody those lessons and to put them into our lives in a really practical way. Now, depending upon the intensity of the bond that we have with that person, this can be completely life transforming. Such situations have the ability to really encourage us to make a change in our lives, or a change in our belief system, or a change in our underlying context, or a change in our lifestyle, or a change in our behavior, for example. Often, these people move out of our lives once that task has been done. And a lot of times we don't even know the reason why they have moved out of our lives until life reveals itself, reveals that to us. However, our job is to accept the lessons and to be grateful to the person who gave us the gift. Depending upon the kind of lessons that we need to learn at any given time in our lives, people stay for a reason, a season, and a lifetime. What we must realize, however, is that however long they are in our lives, that their role in our life is indispensable. And in all probability, we organized a contract with them before we arrived on the planet. My guess is that most of us have heard that saying before, reason, season, lifetime, and maybe have even read the poem by the same name. Like our reading for today, it's often listed as anonymous, but it also has been accredited to a man named Brian A. Chalker. Now, it teaches us about accepting the impermanence of relationships, something that's not always easy for us to do, right? But it teaches us about the impermanence and recognizing the lessons that they leave with us. The poem says, people come into your life for a reason, a season, or a lifetime. When you know which one it is, you will know what to do for that person. When somebody is in your life for a reason, it's usually to meet a need you have expressed. They have come to assist you through a difficulty, to provide you with guidance and support, to aid you physically, emotionally, or spiritually. They may seem like a godsend, and they are. They are there for the reason you need them to be. Then, without any wrongdoing on your part or at an inconvenient time, this person will say or do something to bring the relationship to an end. Sometimes they die. Sometimes they just walk away. Sometimes they act up and force you to take a stand. What we must realize is that our need has been met, our desire fulfilled, their work is done. The prayer you sent up has been answered, and now it's time to move on. Some people come into your life for a season because your turn has come to share, grow, or learn. They bring you an experience of peace or make you laugh. They may teach you something that you've never done before. They usually give you an unbelievable amount of joy. Believe it, it is real, but only for a season. Lifetime relationships teach lifetime lessons, things you must build upon in order to have a solid emotional foundation. Your job is to accept the lessons, love the person, and put what you have learned to use in all other relationships and areas of your life. It is said that love is blind, but friendship is clairvoyant. So I really highly doubt that I'm the only one who has ever wondered why someone has come into my life. I mean, think about it. It's like this chance meeting. A conversation begins with a stranger about some simple kinds of pleasantries or maybe an awareness of common ground that you might have with them. And then another conversation happens maybe a little bit later in time, and time leads to deeper conversations and to an expanded relationship. That original relationship may morph and change, and yet the questions may still remain. Why is it that person has come into my life? Why me? Why now? Why that person? As a minister, I often talk with people about their relationships. I believe that on a practical level, this idea of reason, season, lifetime may assist all of us to really understand our relationships better and why the people that are in our lives are in our lives. So, for the sake of that kind of clarity, let's take a deeper dive into reason, season, lifetime. We'll start with reason. Now, while the lessons and the trials of these short lived relationships may take many different forms, the people who come into our lives for a reason have the ability to transform our lives completely. They have the ability to transform our lives completely. A singular moment or a singular experience can be so profound that it really affects our entire life and we remember it forever, for the rest of our life. We remember that moment or that experience or that person. Now, some examples of reason relationships could be a stranger that you met in the park, told you about their recent travels abroad. And this conversation inspired you to look into moving abroad. How easy would it be? What would you have to do? Where would you go? And now you live in a different country, happy, excited because of that conversation. In grade school, the substitute teacher taught you for one day. He complimented you on your art or your singing voice or whatever and encouraged you to keep doing it, to keep drawing or to keep singing. And you eventually went on to become a designer or hold concerts for stadiums filled with people. Perhaps you dated someone for 3 months, or maybe it was 3 weeks, or maybe 3 days, and it ended up being really toxic. And so you ended it, although it hurt, the relationship taught you to stand up for yourself. Season. Some people come into our life for a season, and the time can be really special. it can be really powerful and it can be really wonderful. They may enter our life to make us aware of our own strengths or to aid us in realizing our true potential or to inspire us around some particular idea or belief or to bring us joy and growth. Now, this is when a relationship accompanies us, that we travel along the path in this relationship for a certain period of time. And while we might learn a lot from this relationship, it eventually ends. This is a seasoned relationship. While it's not often easy to let these people go because the time together was wonderful, it was powerful, it was very special. It's important to allow people to come and go appropriately in our life without attempting to hold on to them or to control the relationship or to control the experience. If it's meant to be long term or last forever, the relationship will let us know. Some examples of seasoned relationships could include a friend you made in college really assisted you to come out of your shell and to really be able to adjust to and embrace living away from home. And although you're no longer in contact, they made a positive impact on your self confidence. You were married, perhaps, for several years before divorcing. Although you and your ex outgrew one another, you also positively influenced each other's lives in many, many, many different ways. Or perhaps your first boss taught you a lot about your trade. And although you now work somewhere else, their lessons set the foundation of the career that you now have today. That they built that foundation upon which you grew and developed. Now, whenever grieving a relationship that has ended, especially when you perhaps thought it was going to last forever, we might find it comforting to think about the positive aspects that do surround it, the lessons that we learned or the really wonderful things that we are taking away from it. And while thinking like that might not necessarily completely take away the pain and the hurt, it it might be a little bit more comforting or a little bit more peaceful to remember the good while we're accepting the challenge. There's always some blessing. There's always some benefit. There is always some lesson that can be gained in each and every relationship that we are in. The invitation is to acknowledge it and then to be grateful for it. And lastly, lifetime. So some people come into our lives for a lifetime, and these are the keepers. They form an integral part of our lives. They assist in developing a solid support system, and they contribute greatly to who we are as a person. A long-term relationship, one that lasts a lifetime, can bring us joy, that it can foster our growth and teach us more about ourselves and about the world than we ever thought was possible. Whether the relationship is with a family member or a childhood friend or a friend that we met as an adult, a lifetime relationship sees us through many different, multiple stages of our lives and supports us through all of it, and vice versa. We're there for each other through thick and thin, through the highs and lows. Regardless of how long anyone is in our life, the invitation is to be sure to give them the best that we have at any given moment. So what does that best look like? What is the best that we have to offer? So some suggestions that I have for you today. The first is to lift each other up. Now, the invitation here, right, is to really to be a good listener and a good communicator. To openly show or to express in some way or another that we care and that we are genuinely available to the other person emotionally. To reaffirm that others can count on us to support them, through thick and thin, to lift them up by validating their feelings, by remembering their accomplishments, by acknowledging their really wonderful positive qualities and getting them to laugh and to have fun when they need a break. Number 2, fuel the connection. Now, it might seem pretty self-evident that time fosters closeness, but it's not always so easy in our really busy everyday lives to be able to do that. We can find it challenging to find the time to socialize, especially when we're separated by a number of different time zones. So one way to maintain our relationship is doing whatever we can, whenever we can, to stay in touch, even if that means to do it virtually. Sometimes just firing off a quick text, I'm thinking about you today, sending my love and my prayers, or whatever. It just can make somebody's day, remind them that you're in this together, and that 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 the relationship means something to you. Checking in periodically is a thoughtful way to show them that we're thinking. Number 3, express gratitude. The bottom line is that it feels really good to be appreciated. I'm sure you'd all agree. And it feels really good to be the one doing the appreciating. When someone displays kindness or thoughtfulness to us, the invitation is to express our gratitude for their efforts. Don't just let it go by unnoticed. Express some gratitude. This reassures them that we have noticed their contribution to the relationship. The invitation is for each of us to consider random acts of gratitude that let them know how much we care and that we value their presence in our life. It doesn't have to be big. It doesn't have to be expensive. It doesn't have to take a lot of time. Just take a moment to express in this, I love this, random acts of gratitude. Number 4, be honest but compassionate. Honesty is an essential part of any lasting relationship, any meaningful relationship. When someone opens up and shares their thoughts or their feelings from a place of vulnerability, from the depths of their soul or the depths of their heart, respond with interest and with honesty. The invitation is to consider your outward reactions. We may not have to agree with everything that they say or do, but it's important to be non-judgmental and compassionate and to reverently listen. Number 5, resolve conflicts and repair imbalances. In any relationship, really, in any relationship, even the best of relationships, conflicts are bound to arise. Every individual has their own lives, their own thoughts, their own feelings, their own beliefs, and their own opinions. Now, we may disagree with them from time to time, which might result in a conflict. Though it's difficult and often uncomfortable, resolving conflicts is vital if we really want to save and maintain or salvage this relationship. Taking the first step, if we're going to be 100% responsible for the relationship, both people have to be 100. It's not 50-50, it's 100 and 100. Let's be real. So if you're going to be 100% responsible, then you have to be willing sometimes to take that first step. Do you want to have love here, or do you want to be right? So taking the first step in communicating that we wish to resolve the conflict and offer potential solutions can signal that we value them and want to restore the relationship. So remember that maintaining the relationship is an act of love and sometimes requires stepping into uncomfortable situations. And lastly, number 6, embrace the differences. Not only are we all unique individuals, but time will also move us in different directions. So it's natural, really, it's natural to feel frustrated or surprised when we find the person that we've been in a relationship with for many years is standing on the opposite side of an issue or a belief. Now, maybe we've always known that we've had these subtle differences and kind of sidestepped around them throughout all those years, but maybe the other person, or maybe we are in the middle of a life transition, and now this difference is bubbling up to the surface, right? So when the distance becomes apparent, it might be a really good time to affirm why we got into the relationship in the first place. To really affirm that, like, what is the why of it? To go back to the why we're in a relationship, and not only just with people, but with the community. Why are we in this community, right? So the invitation is to try to focus on those things that bring us closer, and to be willing to take that first step. Right? So the bottom line is that all of our relationships, whether they are for a reason, a season, or a lifetime, are vitally important to our lives. I leave us with a personal ad written by Reverend David Alt for the most important lifetime relationship we will ever have, our relationship with the divine, a relationship that informs all of our other relationships. And this personal ad reads, "Long walks on the beach are fine, but I'm willing to go anywhere with you, to your job, to the supermarket, to babysit your grandchildren. I'm content to tag along whenever you do the laundry, file your taxes, or keep your chemotherapy appointment. Any ethnicity will do. I do not care. I feel we are all the same anyway. Your economic background does not in any way influence my desire to be with you. I'm well traveled, been everywhere, literally, and would be happy to share those adventures with you if you like. I have an ability to see beyond surface conditions and am not influenced by the opinions of others. Therefore, I am readily and willing to accept your physical body just as it is and just as it is not, and even love and appreciate it. Hopefully, I can guide you to do the same. Of course, I would love it if you would acknowledge my handiwork from time to time. I'm pretty great in the creative department, but I will neither judge you nor abandon you if you get too busy to notice. I'm keenly aware of your creativity also. Any hesitancy or fear that you have concerning the expression of it, well, I can help you with that if you would like. I am not at all threatened by your growth or your success. In fact, I thrive on it. I am your biggest cheerleader. I do not care about your past. When I say not care, it does not mean I fail to honor your journey and all the things that you have accomplished. I am simply not interested in your mistakes, be they extensive or small. What I'm saying with all of this is that I'm looking for a long-term relationship and yet totally willing to go at the pace and level that you are comfortable with. I am available 24/7, and my support and belief in you knows no boundaries and no restrictions. Give the two of us a shot. I guarantee that you will not regret it. And so it is. And so I invite you to close your outer eyes, turn within, to allow ourselves to visit that long-term relationship by turning our attention inward to the center of our being. And it is here I can feel that. I know that I am not alone. I know that, yes, we are creative beings and that it's all about the law, but it's also about the love. The love that we have in this relationship with the Creator, this relationship with source energy, this relationship with all that there is. I feel it as the presence of unconditional love, of peace, of joy, of creativity, of abundance, of freedom, wisdom, and of grace. I know that I am one with it, that I was created by it in a moment of unconditional love, and that right where I am, God is in its fullness 24/7. No matter what I am doing or where I am, God is. And just as I know that this is my truth, I know that it is the truth of each and every person here at Sophie's today, each and every person listening in this moment from the comfort of your own home, everyone that will listen to it at some later point in time, each and every sentient being on the planet. We are all divine emanations of the One, ambassadors of its presence on the planet in a long-term relationship that we can never be separated from. And it is from this place of unity, this deep and abiding understanding of the love that is at the core of every one of our relationships, that I speak these words about and for each of us today, truly knowing that being here on the planet means we are social beings, that we truly desire to be in relationship with one another. And that with this newfound, perhaps, or a reminder of this idea of reason, season, lifetime, that we have a deeper understanding of the people that come into our lives with a lesson, answering a prayer, with some joy, with a lifetime of wonderful experiences, whatever it is, reason, season, lifetime, they are here on purpose. And their role in our life is essential. Welcome them in. Allow them to be what they have come here to be, to find the lesson, to revel in it, to accept it, to figure out a way to embody it, and to be grateful for it. I claim ease and grace around each of us, living our lives in this way, around each of us, having relationships that are fulfilling and wonderful and loving. Because we know that they are here for our highest interest, that who they truly are is the very presence of God itself. And I'm so grateful to know this truth, so grateful to speak these words, so grateful for the power of prayer, knowing that these words are loosed into a law that only ever says yes, that my words are clothed in form even as they are spoken. So I speak them and I release them into that law, fully expecting their manifestation. I invite each of us to enter this prayer for ourselves, for each other, for our community, and for the world. And so it is. Thank you all so very much. Indeed. Now is the time for our conscious giving. The Triangle Center for Spiritual Living is sustained by the giving of our time, talent, and treasure. This is the time every week when we offer financial assistance to support this community to continue to be a beacon of light and warmth and love in the Greater Triangle area. Together we affirm the truth that today's offering lifts this spiritual community, prospers the one giving, and adds to the experience of sufficiency on the planet. There are several ways that you can give, and they're here on the screen or on your screen at home. Visit our website at www.triangle.csl. Text the word give using the following number 919-230-8445, or you can send us a check to our office, PO Box 4062, Cary, North Carolina 27519. So now, I thank you all so very much for your gifts. I invite you to place your hand on your heart with your gift or an intention for yourself or for this community, and we'll say our offering affirmation and call and response. I live in an abundant universe that blesses and prospers my life. I give with gratitude, knowing that God is my source. And so it is. And now, please join me as I welcome back to her piano the awesome, incredible talent, Cindy Johnson. Thank you.
There are places I'll remember all my life. Though some have changed, some forever, not for better. Some have gone, and some remain. All these places had their moments with lovers and friends. I still can recall. Some are dead and some are living. In my life, I love them all. But of all these friends and lovers, there is no one compares with you. And these memories lose their meaning when I think of love as something new. Though I know I'll never lose affection with people and things that went before. I know I'll often stop and think about them. In my life, I love you more. Though I know I'll never lose affection for people and things that went before. I know I'll often stop and think about them. In my life, I love you more. In my life, I love you more.
Well, thank you so much, Cindy. I feel like you chose those songs just for me because Beatles and Broadway are two of my favorites. And, you know, it takes a lot of courage to sing songs that were sung by people like and then Mendel and John Lennon or McCartney, but whatever. I mean, so not only is she beautiful and talented, she's
courageous. Thank you. All right. If anyone would like prayer, please go to our website at trianglecsl.org. On the home page, there's a button in the upper right-hand corner. Click on that button and fill in the request form. You will get that prayer and send it out to all the ministers and practitioners. If anyone would like to dedicate a flower dedication to anyone or anything, please contact Heather Abbott at info@trianglecsl.org or Reverend Dusty at dustyrippelmeyer@yahoo.com. Once again, our outreach ministry has chosen to support the Wake County Guardian Ad Litem's backpack project this summer. We have been focusing on high school aged students. Today is actually the last day to participate. However, there is still time, as you can donate money and the outreach ministry will do the shopping. Please speak with Heather before you leave today if you are interested. This is a save the date announcement for our August get together. The first 25 to register will be cheering for the Durham Bulls against the Jackson Jumbo Shrimp on Friday, August 12th. The tickets will be along the first base side of the stadium. Love donations are appreciated. Some amazing fireworks will follow the game. It is a wonderful evening. So please contact Heather at info@trianglecsl.org. We would love it if you would join us for our final Sunday service, August 7th at Sophie's, as we show our appreciation to Desi and her staff. As Desi said, it's been a year of her generously donating the space. And she came into our lives for a reason and for a season, but I'm sure she will continue to be in our hearts for a lifetime. So anyway, we really want people to come and let them know what a difference they've made in our lives this past year. So it's also our lunch bunch after service. So we'll be eating here at Sophie's. So you lucky August birthday people are going to have a whole crowd celebrating your birthday with you. So join us for the service and stay for fellowship. Then the next Sunday is Sunday, August 14th, is the 4 points by the four, all right. I hate goodbyes, but I love beginnings, so I got to get myself settled here. All right, that next Sunday, August 14th, at the 4 Points by Sheraton Hotel, we are ushering in our next expression as the Triangle Center for Spiritual Living. So please join us for our homecoming celebration and bring a friend with you. Those of us who have been attending services have really been missing those who have not. We would love to welcome everyone to our new home. Come celebrate with us with lots of music, a chamber of prayer, message, and ritual. We will cap off the morning with the return of our TCSL potlucks. And I know some of you all who have joined us in the, over this COVID time have never experienced them, but they are fantastic. So please bring a dish to share, and remember that we don't have a kitchen and we don't have a refrigerator. So, put that into your planning for what to bring, and maybe bring a cooler if you have something that needs to be kept cool. But I know you all are creative and creators, and we will all have wonderful food and terrific fellowship. So Dusty invites us to raise the roof in a really wonderful way. All right, now it is time for our last chance at our July affirmations. So I ask everyone to stand and let's say it with gusto, because this is our last opportunity to make these affirmations our truths. I understand the way we relate to ourselves, one another. Oh yes, this is a call and response. Oh, I guess you guys figured that out. All right. I understand the way we relate to ourselves, one another, the world, and the divine are all interconnected. Because of that, I cannot claim to love anything or anyone while holding anything or anyone outside of my heart, including myself. Therefore, I vow to become my own best friend. Beyond loving myself, I proclaim that a plethora of people are drawn to me by the ever active law of attraction. With that in mind, I am called to communicate, collaborate, and cooperate with all of them in meaningful ways. I am a catalyst here to nurture, empower, and engage with everyone through the power of unconditional love. Beyond that, I recognize the divinity within everything, and I consciously choose to nurture a loving relationship with all of it. And so it is. All right, you can be seated if you wish. And I ask you to close your eyes one last time as I say a word of benediction on today's service. And, I am feeling so good because I got to be so right, because everything did unfold just perfectly. I am feeling that relationship so much stronger. My relationship with the divine, with the one, with all that is. My relationship with all the people who are in the room with me, with all the people who are on the other end of the transmission right now and in the future, with everyone in our beloved community, with everyone in the world, and with everything. Oh, ah, I'm just almost overcome by the love and the connection I'm feeling in this moment. So I'm grateful. I'm grateful for the service. I'm grateful for my relationship with every one of you and for all of those beautiful souls that I may not know yet, but who are my brothers and sisters. I'm grateful for this blessed event, knowing that I have been changed for good, and I'm sure that you have as well. Knowing that in the days to come, this will be manifest in the world, bringing us closer to our own personal dreams and to our collective vision of a world that works for everyone. So, knowing this is the truth, I turn it over to the law that always says yes and ask you to proclaim this with me, with our words, and so it is. Thank you.
Thank you all so very much for joining us today. Take a moment over the next week before we see each other again and tell a bunch of somebodies that you love them and you're grateful that they're in your life. And so it is. Love you.